Hey guys, so today we are going to be looking at what is your current reputation. So what is the current word around town about you? We're going to have 4 piles. Pile 1 is going to be the Jack of Diamonds. Pile 2 is going to be the 4 of Clubs. Pile 3 is going to be the 6 of Clubs. And pile 4 is going to be the Ace of Spades. And for the collective, I've got the 4 of Spades. So your reputation around town has been that you've been kind of laying low. There's a sense of a hermit period that everyone's been in and that you're currently emerging from. For a lot of you, your reputation is that you haven't been around lately. Your reputation is that you've been playing things really low key. And I have a feeling that that is going to change very soon. All right. So again, for pile 1, we've got the Jack of Diamonds. For pile 2, we've got the 4 of Spades. The 4 of Clubs. For pile 3, we've got the 6 of Clubs. For pile 4, we've got the Ace of Spades. So starting off with pile 1 and the Jack of Diamonds. So already I'm getting the sense that you have been working on something. Well, your reputation has been that you've been like on the down low because you've been working on something. For a lot of you, it's been self-improvement. This has been like a self-improvement journey, a self-healing journey. For some of you, it's actually like a physical business or like a physical like creative pursuit that you've been working on though. If that is the case, it's something that you've talked about before. It's something that you have mentioned before. Yeah, the Wheel of Fortune, it's something that you've mentioned before, and people are watching you bring things into fruition. If this was a self-care, like a self-healing journey, people are watching you blossom. The energy here is that regardless of what it was that was keeping you on the down low, people are watching it blossom into actual, like, fullness now. And it's a really nice feeling. This is a very awe-inspired feeling. People are really, really impressed by how you have emerged from this down period of your life. Now, what is your current reputation? Yeah, the 8 of Wands, definitely coming back on the scene, People, the 8 of Wands is also indicative of like people talking. People have been gossiping about you. There's this strong sense here that because you have been so to yourself recently, people have been gossiping about you because you haven't been really giving them anything else to talk about. People have been trying to fill in the gaps to see what you've got going on, what you've been doing. There are definitely certain people who have been trying to find information on you. There are people who have been asking around about you. There are people, if you live in the same neighborhood as some of these people, they've been trying to like see you at old spots that you hang out at. Definitely a strong sense of people who didn't necessarily believe in you. They're watching everything happen for you now, and it's got them pressed. It's got them curious. They want to know more. And they have closed off access to you because of how everything's ended. The Star. So all they can do is watch. All they can do is watch you. Your current reputation is that you are like, your current reputation is frankly that you're out of people's leagues. Like, especially if you went through a really, really hard breakup, like a very, very difficult public breakup. Whether that was, for some of you, that wasn't even romantic. For some of you, it might have been with a friend or possibly even a family member. But regardless of the situation, if you went through a very, very public breakup, your reputation is that you're better than the people that you left behind. Like, the people that you left behind are holding you back. And that's why you have been flourishing so much now that they're out of your life. If you are, there is something very spiritual about both the Wheel of Fortune and the Star card. If you're a spiritual person, people are saying that the people that you left behind are getting their karma. This is their karma. Their karma is that they're going to watch you do better. And frankly, it's also proof that you weren't the one in the wrong for a lot of people. You going up and them going down gives them a pretty clear sight of who deserves the better case. Like who deserves to be believed in the situation. You know what I mean? Especially if you were not the one gossiping about another person. And the Two of Wands. Yeah, very split decision. There's definitely this energy here of someone watching you. Your reputation is that you have been on the down low. People don't really know what you've got going on. So what's popping out more than anything here is that someone has been watching you, or like a group of people for some of you has been watching you, a group of friends or an ex of some sort. People who really want back into your life. The Star card is also indicative, both the Star card and the Eight of Wands are indicative of like communication, right? Like electronic communication. There's definitely the sense of people watching your social media, if you have a social media. People that you went separate ways from, people who you split down path, you split down a certain crossroads with. They've been watching you, and they've been watching you because you've been doing a lot better than them, and word has been getting around town that you've been doing a lot better without them, specifically. And the Two of Swords. Yeah, wrapping right back around to the fact that you have been very closed off. You've been very, very private. The word private comes to mind. You came back healed. I definitely get the sense that you're like coming back on the scene and you're like shaking your tail feathers out a little bit. You're getting back used to the groove of things, and that's why people are talking about you again. But there's definitely the sense that you're still very closed off. People recognize the fact that you're very, very closed off. And a lot of people know why. Again, this has the energy of being a very, very public breakup of some sort. The Four of Wands. And if it was a public breakup for a lot of you, people are assuming, even if you're not in a happier relationship, you just look happy. You look like you've been glowing lately. And people are assuming that it means that you found someone new. Especially your ex has been assuming that you found someone new. People are feeling replaced. All right. What more can we know about what your current reputation is? And we've got the Book. Yeah, the Book is indicative of being closed off. There's something very secretive about you. There's something even very secretive about how you work. Like, there's a sense that you went through your downtime and you came back so much better and so much glowed up that people want to know your secret. They want to know what you did. And you're keeping it to yourself. Your reputation is that you are very private and you're keeping what you did to yourself. You're keeping all of your business to yourself. For some of you, you went through a situation where people copped your creative ideas without crediting you, or just copied you without crediting you, essentially. And for some of you, they got credit for it. Like, for some of you, it worked out really well for them. So now you're keeping everything to yourself. You're working in silence. That is a part of your current reputation. It's a big part of your current reputation, that you're moving in silence lately. And the Mice. And it's eating at people. This is a sense of gossip, right? Like, people have been gossiping about the fact that there are people who are pressed over how good you're doing. There are people who are, it is eating away at them how well you've been doing without them. And other people around them, especially if you have like friends in common or you have mutual acquaintances, they've been gossiping about the fact that it's very obvious that this other person is incredibly pressed over you. And frankly, it comes off as kind of, for some reason, the word tacky comes to mind. Like, it just comes off as really, really bad that these people are hating on you for doing well. And that is it. Like, that's the reason they're hating on you for doing well. And there's no sugarcoating that because they're pretty obvious about it. And so it's making the people around them kind of side eye them like, vicious side is coming out of you now, huh? And the moon. The moon is indicative of fame. The moon can be indicative of fame. Between the moon and the star card, again, your social media may have been popping lately. If it's not, there have definitely been people who are watching your social media because they're trying to figure out what you've got going on. The moon is also indicative of nighttime in the Lenormand deck. So there's the sense that people have been like thinking about you at night. If you've been having trouble sleeping, I feel like this comes up in every single reading at least once. If you've been having trouble sleeping lately, it's because people have been thinking about you at night. People have been like manifesting your energy at night because they've been so obsessively thinking about you. And we've got the mountain at the bottom of the deck. So the mountain is indicative of problems that you can't just get through, right? You have to get over them. You have to work your way through them. You have to figure out your way around them. The mountain is indicative of working through your problems, a really big problem, getting over something very big. Your part of your reputation is that you're capable of that. And you're capable of it in a very short time period, I feel. People are really surprised at how quick you turned everything around. Because again, I feel like this was a very public falling out of some sort. And people are very, very shocked at how quickly you turn things around. I'm also getting that you are the mountain in some people's lives. Like, you are something that like some people really need to get over. Again, there are people who are gossiping about the fact that there are people who really need to get over you because it's becoming a not healthy obsession thing. And they just can't. For a lot of these people, it's because they don't want to, whether they're willing to admit it or not. They are too addicted to your energy. They want you back in their lives. For some of you, you cut this person off and they never thought that you'd actually cut them off. They thought that they could get away with everything for forever. And I have a feeling that that pushiness, and potentially it happening from not just one person, but from a lot of people, that pushiness, that willingness to take advantage of you, it's I have a feeling it helped break people-pleasing ways, almost. Like, there's this energy here that, like, before you went into your hermit period, you may have been a little bit of a people-pleaser. That might be part of why you ended up in a situation where, like, people were so willing to take advantage of you or so willing to put you in, like, a bad position or a bad spot. And you came out on the other side of all of this not a people pleaser anymore. Like, you are more than willing to stand up for yourself now. That is that's a big part of your reputation right now, that you're willing to stand up for yourself. There's a possibility that there's the possibility that for some of you, these people came back to you, they tried to come back into your life, and they were shocked at how adamant you were that you were not letting them back into your life. They were shocked at how adamant you were that they were gone. We've got the parrot. Loving, intelligent, and confident. Yeah, part of your reputation is just that you're confident. Your confidence has like skyrocketed. There's something very confident about this energy here, and you're going to be rewarded for it, by the way. There's definitely the sense that you've been working on something. I think I mentioned that at the very beginning of your reading. There's definitely the sense that you've been working on something. And even if working on something is just like getting yourself to a better point, a point where you're happier with yourself, something is coming. There's something on its way. A boon of some sort is on its way. I am currently right outside of holiday season. This reading is timeless, but I'm currently in late November right now, right outside of the holiday season. And so expect some kind of gift coming in within the next season. If you are catching this at the holiday season as well, expect this holiday season to be kind of big for you. And I do get big in a good way. I do get that something good is coming for you. You're going to be rewarded for all of the growth that you've done for yourself. You have come through a lot. That is part of your reputation. I get the feeling that that's also between the star, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Moon card, there is also some sense that like you have a very strong spiritual team watching out for you. You're not just protected in the physical realm, you're also very, very well protected in the spiritual realm. Spiritual realm. And so expect good things to come for you. Expect rewards for all of the growth that you've done. Part of your reputation is that part of your reputation in the spiritual realm is that you deserve to be rewarded for all of the things that you've done for yourself. You deserve to be rewarded for all of the growth that you've done through very difficult times in your life. And we've got the Phoenix, rebirth. Yeah, you rose from some kind of ashes. Beautiful, mysterious, and regenerative. You rose from some kind of ashes. You rose from a very, very bad, negative situation, and you're doing so much better now. People are really proud of you. There's definitely a sense of pride here, and honestly, I don't think that it's from you. I think that you are probably a very humble person. That's why you're so private, because you don't need accolades to feel good about yourself. But know that people are very proud of you. Even people that you don't know, I have a feeling like people that have just been on like the sidelines looking in, they're very proud of you. They're very proud of how far you've come and how much growth you've gone through. When you do start seeing those rewards come actually coming through, there are going to be a lot of people who are really happy for you. There will be some people obviously who are incredibly jealous. Their energy has been coming through in this reading, that there's also going to be a lot of people that are incredibly happy for you because they really feel like you deserve to get good things after everything that you've been through. And we've got the eagle, territorial, dangerous, and proud. Yeah, again, so, and that's 3 birds, by the way. There's something very free about your energy now. Almost like this bad thing broke shackles on you. Like, bad things are bad things. No one should ever have to have a bad thing happen to them for growth to be, for growth. Like, no one should ever have to go through like just a bad thing for growth, right? There are other ways to grow. There are always better ways to grow than having other people hurt you. But I get the sense that you were pushed to your limit, and instead of breaking, what broke were your bonds. You know what I mean? Like if you were stuck in a cage, what broke was the cage door. You've become very free. Part of your reputation is that you are an incredibly difficult person to pin down because you are very free, and you're very protective of that freedom now. You are very, very, you're protective of your peace. That's what comes through more than anything else. You're very, very protective of your peace. And we've got the lion. Family oriented, territorial, and vain. So what sticks out there is territorial, because territorial is also in the eagle. Again, you are very, very protective of your space. People are part of your reputation is that you're very picky about the people that you let into your circle. And you're willing to you're willing to be firm about that. You're willing to put your foot down about the fact that you're very, very picky about the people that you'll share your energy with. All right. Now, final deck. What else can we know about what your current reputation is? People have been gossiping about you. Your reading is so much more about like gossip than it is about your actual reputation. And I get that those two topics kind of bleed into each other, but this is definitely more people gossiping about you because they don't know, they don't really have any basis to gauge anything off of. Your reputation at its core is that you're very mysterious. You've been on the down low working through things. You rose from the ashes, and what people know about you is the fact that you are a badass, basically. And people like to gossip about badasses. All right. What more can we know about what your current reputation is? Messenger. Yeah, people have been writing and deleting messages. We're back to that energy of someone really wanting to come back into your life. For some of you, it's more than one person that's been like writing and deleting messages, trying to figure out the best way to reestablish communication with you. I do get the sense that for some of you, this is a good thing. For some of you, this is just like this person has been like out of your life for a very long time and they've been thinking about you. There's something really nostalgic actually about the energy. Um, but do expect messages from people that maybe you don't want to hear it from. Do expect people to reach out to you that will test your boundaries over the next season of your life. Because coming out with new boundaries will always encourage people to push them for some reason, right? And so do expect people to push your boundaries, but also expect people to come back. Expect good people to come back from your history as well. Waiting. Yeah, there's this sense that you've been maybe waiting for someone or waiting, if not for a specific person. I have the feeling that you have been lonely. There's a sense of loneliness after this hermit period. Expect expect friendship. Expect friendship. For a lot of people, for a lot of you, this will be someone or people from your past, people that like nothing bad happened. You just kind of maybe went your separate ways or you fell out of each other's lives because of situations, you know? Expect people to be coming back to support you. Reunion. Expect people to be coming back into your life. Your reputation right now is that there are a lot of people who want to come back into your life. Good people, bad people, everyone in the middle. Your reputation right now is that people really, really, really want to come back into your life. People that you've known have been talking about you. Even people like that you haven't talked to in a really long time, they've been thinking about you lately. Again, with that moon energy, if you've been having trouble sleeping at night, it's because people have been manifesting your energy, maybe even on accident, just because they've been thinking about you so much. You've been on so many different people's minds. It's maybe got your energy a little bit frazzled. You may want to cleanse. Friend. Ultimately, people are talking about the fact that they think that you might be a little bit lonely. People really, really want to come back into your life, and a lot of people want to enter it for the first time. This is the energy of someone very popular loner. This is the energy of a very popular loner. Um, if you are a influencer of any sort, and even if you're not, if you have social media of any kind and it's felt kind of dry lately, it's felt like you haven't been getting a lot of interaction lately, trust that it's because people are actively trying to keep you from knowing just how much they're looking at your stuff. Hope with blindfolds on. Yeah, people, there are people who are trying to come back into your life, but they understand, I think, that you aren't the kind of person who will give more than one shot. And if they're trying to come back into your life, then that's already a second shot, right? Your reputation is that there are definitely people who are very blindly hoping for a second shot with you. And the energies are so muddled. There are a lot of people who want back into your life. There are a lot of people who are realizing that they really screwed up by letting you leave their lives, even if it was just like you guys grew apart. There are a lot of people who really miss you and have really been thinking about the fact that they shouldn't have let you go, or they shouldn't have let they shouldn't have let your relationship fall out, basically. Expect people to be coming back into your life. That's definitely a huge part of what people have been talking about surrounding you, that there are going to be people who are going to try to come back into your life. There are people who can't stay away from you. The Seven of Swords with the shadow on the rock behind him, like there are people who are coming towards you. All right, loves, that is what I've got for you. I hope it was enlightening. I hope it was fun. I will see you next time. Bye. All right, and we are on pile 2 with the Four of Clubs. Already there's very fiery energy here. There's the sense that you've been in the spotlight lately. Even if you haven't been trying to be in the spotlight lately, you've definitely been on people's minds and people's tongues lately. People have been talking about you. Now it's just a matter of what they've been saying. Let's see what your current reputation is. We've got the Death card. Yeah, you've undergone some really big transformation recently, and it's got people talking. People have been really curious as to what you've got going on behind the scenes. Notice how she's like pulling back the curtain there. People have been really curious as to what you've got going on behind the scenes. The Seven of Cups. It's because you've got a lot of options. People don't know what you're going to do next. There's something very fiery and fast-paced about this energy. People have a very difficult time keeping up with you. They have no idea what you're going to do next. This is also the energy of someone who's like constantly transforming. You're constantly going through like big transformations personally in your personal life, or even big transformations in your public life too, you know? People have a very difficult time keeping up with you. That's a big part of your reputation, that you are constantly moving and you're constantly going. You've constantly got something new going on. And the High Priestess. Between the High Priestess and the Death card, though, you know what you're doing. This is all preordained. People have there's something very spiritual about you. I have a feeling that people may have doubted you at one point in your life. That is no longer the case. People assume that regardless of how you get things done, if you say you're going to do something, you'll end up doing it. Again, there's a sense of you've always got something going on. Very fast moving energy, very fast paced energy. And yet the High Priestess is like very standstill, motionless energy, someone who stands in their place. You have a plan. You're not just transforming because you keep going through things. You know what you're doing. You are a very well in-tuned person. Part of your reputation is that you have a very strong intuition. That's part of why you're capable of doing this, because you're very comfortable following your intuition and trusting yourself. Even if that isn't actually the case, it's a huge part of your reputation, that you are constantly evolving and constantly moving forward because you are trusting yourself, because you have some kind of guidance going on that other people can't understand, and it works for you. The Devil card. Yeah, the Devil card is very passionate. There's a certain amount of passion that comes with the Devil card. You are addicting. There's something very addictive about your energy. There's something very addictive about watching you. I do get the sense that people enjoy watching you. Like people, especially people who don't think that they'd be able to keep up with you on your, like actually keep up with you in your real life. They love watching you. You have a very addictive energy. It's part of why people gossip about you too, because there's definitely the sense that people gossip about you. You've got a very strong energy. You've got a very powerful presence, even if you don't mean for it to be that way. Of the 4 cards that we've laid here, 3 of them are major arcana. Like, you have a very strong energy, even if you're not trying to come off that way. And it can be kind of intimidating, I feel. People can be kind of intimidated by just how passionate you can get, and just how far you're willing to dive into things, frankly. And we've got the Lovers, making this 4 out of 5 cards being major arcana, by the way. The Lovers is definitely indicative. With the Lovers the Death card and the Devil card in here, there is strong physical attraction. People talk about the fact that you are incredibly physically attractive. The word hot comes to mind, like literally hot, like sexy, like very base. That people find you to be incredibly physically attractive, And for a lot of people, what they're gossiping about is they think it might be magic, especially if you're an openly spiritual person. They think that there's the possibility that you might be doing like glamour magic or something. They think that there's no way it could possibly be just like normal that you're constantly glowing up like this, because it also happens a little bit too quickly for it to be like surgical or anything like that. Not that there would be anything wrong with that, but like your glow ups happen so quickly in the public eye that like people have to wonder how you're doing it. For a lot of people, especially if you're openly spiritual, they assume that it's that you're doing some kind of like magic behind the scenes. And for other people, they assume that you've got some kind of financier going on, some kind of backing going on in the lovers. There is the sense that people, between the lovers, the devil card, and the high priestess card, even the death card, all of the major arcana here point to the fact that people, they think that you've got more going on behind the scenes than you let on. They People definitely, a huge part of your reputation is that people misunderstand your constantly moving forward and constantly being willing to do new things and go down a path that nobody else understands. People misunderstand that as you not having a plan. That is not the case. You're just following intuition, and your intuition always leads you to where you're supposed to go. And we've got the Page of Wands at the bottom of the deck with that very carefree energy. There's something very carefree about this energy, even if that's not the case. People watch you move and people watch how you operate in your life. And there is a sense of jealousy here. There is a sense that people are kind of jealous of the fact that you are so comfortable with trusting yourself, that you are so, not even just that you're so comfortable with trusting yourself, but that you can trust yourself because you keep being proven right. Like I do get the sense of someone here that like people have had to learn that like you're not crazy, you're not impulsive in a way that's dangerous. Like you're just following your intuition, you're just following where you're being led. It's something that people have had to learn, and it's something that's been integrated to be a part of your reputation at this point. Because now if someone talks about you and they're like, oh, they've got no idea what they're doing, there's someone around to be like, no, let them cook. Don't worry about it. Let them cook. You'll be amazed what they come up with in a couple months. And they always are. Or you're the kind of person who you'll say like an unpopular opinion and people will side eye you for it, and then you'll be proven right about it. Whether that's like your opinion on like a person personally or your opinion on something like bigger than that, there's definitely the sense here that you have been proven right before. Like you've been through this situation where people have had to learn that you know what you're talking about and you know what you're doing. Even with all of this childish energy, even with all of this free spirited energy, at the middle of this line is the high priestess. Even with all of this forward moving energy, even with all of this fire, you have a very, very still and peaceful core. You have a very, very strong intuitive core, and it allows you to make moves that other people are too terrified to even think of. It allows you to do things that are so freeing that to other people it seems almost impossible. Extremely free-spirited vagabond energy here. Some of you might have done like the van life thing. Some of you might have gone through like really publicly low periods in your life. There's even the sense of like some of you might have like gone through a period of like living in your car. Separately of the van life, you know what I mean? Like living in your car, like living wherever. And you came back better than ever at the end of it. Like it's just such powerful energy. You have the energy of a steamroller, like someone who nothing can get in your way. You look at every obstacle as something to get over, as like a fleeting thing almost. You make it look very easy is what it is. Remember, this is your reputation, so even if you don't feel this way about yourself, this is how people view you. They view you as someone who nothing can ever get in your way. You're willing to make the hard decisions. You're willing to do the hard things, and you come out better at the other side of it. It's really, really impressive energy. You should be very proud of yourself. Other people are proud of you. Other people are jealous as hell over you, over this energy. All right. What more can we know about your current reputation? Someone someone is attracted to you who is either not your type, or they feel like they're not your type, or they you are not their type. Between the lovers here, and you might have an inkling that this is going on too, between the lovers and the devil, especially since they're right next to each other in the traditional Rider-Waite date in the traditional Rider-Waite tarot deck. Both the lovers and the devil card have there's very strong mirroring between the two of them, right? The two of these right next to each other, and this lovers card is indicative, or it's portrayed by the Beauty and the Beast. There's a sense here that someone is very, very addicted to your energy, and it's someone who you would never expect. It's someone who it's someone who is shocked that they are so attracted to you. I think you've definitely got a secret admirer, and I don't think that they're so secret. You probably don't know about them, but there's definitely like gossip going on around here that you've got a secret admirer. Someone who like I feel like they might think that they shouldn't be into you. Like there's definitely this feeling that like they're so like oil and water. Like you guys are so different, but it doesn't matter. They are so addicted to your energy. People are talking about that. That's part of your reputation right now. The Sun card. You glow. Again, part of your reputation is that you're just sunshine. You glow. You are so. There's something very happy-go-lucky about this energy. Something, and the Sun card lines up right above the Seven of Cups here. You look at all your opportunities, and you look at everything that comes to you with such fresh new eyes. It's part of why I think people. It's part of why people assume it's part of what people have assumed makes it possible for you to do such incredible things, for you to make the hard decision, for you to go through the hard time and come out on the other side still working and moving. Like there's definitely this energy here that a big part of your reputation is that you glow. You're just this ray of sunshine in a very darkening world. And again, with that fire energy, there's more fire energy here. This is such fast moving, fiery energy. And the Ring, and you're consistent. Even with all of this going on, this very flighty energy, there has been no hint that you are not consistent. In fact, there's been a lot to say that you are very dedicated to what you do. In the Devil card, traditionally they literally have a couple that is chained up. Like there's there's a sense here that you're very dedicated to what you do. For a lot of you, that means you're very dedicated to yourself. It can come off as a little bit selfish to some people, but frankly, it only comes off as selfish to people who are jealous of the fact that you are capable of prioritizing yourself. And the Moon card. The Sun and the Moon card both here are indicative of like fame, almost like very bright shining fame. People have You're almost like a local celeb, whether you realize it or not. Like there are definitely people who have been like talking about you. There are definitely people who like they really like seeing you around, whether that's like out in the world, walking or living your life, or like online posting and like being on social media. Not in a creepy way, by the way. Just like there are people who just really like seeing you around. This is very strong local celeb energies. People are really, really curious about what you've got going on. And it's because you've always got something new going on. You always have some kind of new thing happening. You've always got some kind of new transformation going down. You've always got some new story that you can tell. And the whip. Now, the whip is indicative of two things. One, the whip is indicative of, again, that strong physical attraction. And the whip is like very basic, like physical attraction. People find you to be incredibly physically attractive. Again, just like I think I mentioned earlier, the words like hot, like base physical attraction comes to mind. You are just a very, very, you're almost everyone's cup of tea, basically. Like people, even people who, again, don't feel like they should be attracted to you are crazy attracted to you. What the whip also means is it doubles down on that sense of consistency. Even with all of this very flighty energy, you are very consistent. You're consistent in who you are. You're a very authentic person. You're consistent in how you portray yourself. It's a huge part of your reputation. There are definitely people who would like to be very intimate with you. That is coming out very strongly. There are definitely people who fantasize about being intimate with you. And if you have been intimate with people before, trust that they don't forget about that. Trust that it's something that they remember and cherish quite deeply. You're very attractive. You're a very attractive person. I don't ever doubt that. If people find you to be incredibly attractive. All right, now what more can we know about your current reputation? We've got hammerhead sharks, unique, talented, and adaptable. Adaptable, unique, talented, specifically adaptable jumps out here. You are just so good at going with the flow. And that's what it looks like to people. It looks like you are just riding wave after wave and things just keep happening for you. Again, you have a very, very good intuition and you are very good at following your intuition. And people who like know you, people who have been watching you for a second, they're aware of that. And they say that. They tell people that. Like, no, it's not. This is what they do. And we've got the owl. Reclusive, misunderstood, socially awkward. So I do get the sense that you are a little bit misunderstood. Socially awkward, I think, leans more towards you're a very unique personality. Unique came out with a hammerhead shark too. You're a very unique personality. Again, a lot of people, most people don't have it in them to be as free spirited as this. Most people don't have it in them to follow their intuition regardless of where that takes them. You have a very unique way of going about life. And that can also be very easy to misunderstand. You can also be a very easy person to misunderstand. I think I mentioned it earlier even, but like even down to the fact that you're a very consistent person, you're a very loyal person, I think, to your ideals, to who you are, to the people who you let into your life. You're very, very consistent and you're very, very loyal. But off the cuff, just knowing about you, that's not something anyone would expect because you seem like you're constantly flitting from one thing to another, to another, to another. When that's not the case, you're just following your intuition wherever it leads you. And because you're following your intuition to wherever it leads you, things work out for you. It's not just that you keep lucking out, it's that you are actively looking for what is meant for you. And we've got the elephant, intelligent, intuitive, and nurturing. Intuitive, I knew that intuitive was going to come out at least once in these animal cards. You have an incredibly powerful intuition. Elephants also have like a really, really long memory. I get the feeling that you are a one-shot person. That's part of your reputation here. The whip can also be indicative of like actually literally like the rod, the whip can be indicative of like actually an actual whip, like getting people out of your life. I do get the sense that you are someone who doesn't have time for toxicity in your life. You don't have time for people to be incredibly toxic. You don't have time for people to mess up your jive, man. You've got stuff to do. And we've got the beaver, dedicated, hard worker, and team player. And at the end of the day, it's work hard, play hard for you. Like, regardless of how easy you might make things look, you aren't just handed things. And ultimately, I don't think anyone could accuse you of being handed things. I think people accuse you or try to downplay what you do because they call you lucky. The word lucky comes to mind a whole lot. There's definitely the sense here that people think that you're very lucky. And that's not the case. You're a very hard worker. And the more people get to know you, the more they know that. It is an integral part of your reputation. There are people who, if they hear people talking about how, oh, they just lucked out and everything, they will stop them and be like, no, they worked really hard. You don't understand. Like, they're a hard worker. Again, with that loyalty, again, with that dedication, once you set your mind to something, you very much set your mind to it. You're very, very set on that idea. All right, now, what else can we know about your current reputation? And we've got waiting. So right now you're currently, I think, in the middle of things. Like right now might be a downtime period for you where you're kind of gauging where to go next. That might be also in the that might be also seen in the Seven of Cups. Like right now, what people are talking about, what your reputation is that you are in the downtime. You've been going, you've been moving. Now you're like in your rest period. Even if that's not actually the case, people don't know what you're working on right now. People assume that you're in some kind of rest period. And we've got constancy. Constancy is coming out literally right with the ring. And right over the High Priestess, which again, I mentioned is kind of like the still card in your reading. This is an extremely fast-paced energy, but the High Priestess is very grounding and still in this reading. It at the center of your spread, it is indicative of the fact that you have such powerful intuition, and that is what's guiding you. The constancy and the ring coming out right next to each other, it's just confirmation. People do recognize that you're a very hard worker. People do recognize that you are loyal, that you are dedicated to your ideas, to the people in your life, to yourself. Like it's something that people respect. It's something that people respect about you. And surprise. You're surprising. Like again, with the misunderstood, you're very surprising. Like people expect something a lot more flighty from you than they get. People expect something a lot more shallow from you than they get. And they are very often caught off guard with just how wrong they are about that. And we've got the Lover at the bottom of the deck. So the Lover, the Page of Wands, the Whip, and the Lover, they're all indicative of literal just physical attraction. They're all indicative of just people being incredibly physically attracted to you. And they came out, those are the three cards that came out at the bottoms of your deck. The bottoms of those decks. Like, you are so physically attractive. People are so physically attracted to you. People want in your bed. There's no other way to say it. People want in your life. They want to know more about you intimately. All right, that was a fun one. It's what I've got for you, loves. I hope it was fun. I hope it was entertaining. I hope it was enlightening. I will see you next time. Bye. All right, guys, and we are on pile number 3. That's going to be the 6 of clubs. I'm getting the sense that you accomplished something recently. Definitely an accomplishment recently. Part of your reputation is that you don't give up. I have a feeling that you accomplished something that you've been working on for the Sun. Something that you've been working on for a really long time, or something that you've had on your mind for a really long time. This accomplishment made you very, very happy. This accomplishment put you in some kind of spotlight, more than likely. People have been talking about the fact that you don't give up. Like, you put in a lot. Part of your reputation, a big part of your reputation, is that you don't give up. You're someone who sticks to what you're doing, and you see rewards for it. You see it pay off. Very strong, very strong Knight of Pentacles Virgo energy. This is probably something that took you a long time to accomplish, or something that you didn't get right the first time through, or maybe even the second or third time through. Something that took either a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of different tries, or all three. What else can we learn, or what else can we know about your current reputation? Yeah, definitely the sense that you had drawbacks or setbacks. People talk about the fact that part of your reputation is that you don't give up. Like, what comes to mind is the Mountain card in Lenormand. You are really good at you're very good at figuring out ways around things, and you're very, very good at hyping yourself up. You're really good at keeping yourself motivated. Something that's very, very rare, by the way. It's extremely rare to find someone who they're incredibly self-motivated, and that is a part of your reputation. Even if you feel like that's not necessarily the case, part of your reputation is that you are capable of motivating yourself, and you are capable of keeping yourself going. You don't need external validation to feel complete in your work. And honestly, that kind of comes with being the kind of person who's willing to try something over and over and over again until you get it right. Someone who's willing to be dedicated to their craft and their ideals. What more can we know about your current reputation? The Magician. You made something happen. You made something big happen for yourself, too. I get the feeling that this might have taken a lot of effort, a lot of time, because people didn't really support your idea. Like, you were going against the grain with what you were doing. Part of your reputation is that you're someone who you're willing to go against the grain. You're willing to put yourself on the line. You're willing to put in all of the work that you need to succeed. The Magician is really strong, like, manifestation energy too, right? Like, you have a reputation as a very powerful manifester. If you're someone who is openly spiritual, you're someone who people look up to in the spiritual sense, because they see how things have worked for you. Like, you're someone who, if you're spiritual openly, people have changed their minds probably about spirituality and watching you, because you are a living case that your spirituality must mean something. Like, you live what you preach, and you are rewarded for it as well. You know what I mean? And the Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands and the Magician, strong manifestation energy. People definitely have seen you pull off miracles. People have seen you pull off things that no one thought you'd be able to do. And it's a part of your reputation now that you're capable of that. Like, incredibly strong manifestation energy. A part of your reputation is that nothing can hold you back, nothing can bring you down. The Eight of Swords. And it wasn't always like that. You grew. You had to grow into who you are. Again, there was a point in your life, I feel, where you didn't have a whole lot of support. Whether it was with one specific idea or just like in general, there was a point in your life where you didn't have a whole lot of support. You had to prove yourself. And part of your reputation is that was the very first obstacle that you busted through. That was the very first obstacle that you overcame. This lack of support in what you were doing, this lack of support in people who are supposed to be willing to support you, even if you're going against the grain. You shouldn't have to prove that you can succeed for people who claim to care about you to support you and stuff. And Temperance. But you're very healed. You're a very healed person. There's no bitterness here. Regardless of the fact that I do get the sense that you could be very bitter towards people if you wanted to do, there's no bitterness here. I'm not, there is very singular energy here. Single people, single identities, single on every card, right? There is very singular energy here. So I'm not sure if you let these people back into your life. I'm not sure if you're someone, you don't come off to me anyway as someone who is very big on like second chances or like letting people back into your life after they've proven you wrong. But Temperance is definitely indicative of the fact that like you've moved past being any kind, you've moved past feeling any certain way about it. You know what I mean? Whether you've forgiven these people or not, you have decided that actively staying bitter towards them is only detrimental towards you. These two cards here, there's something incredibly powerful about how they're depicted in this deck. You're a very strong person internally. That's probably why you were capable of moving past this lack of support in your life. And that is a really big part of your reputation. A really big part of your reputation is that you are so internally sound that people can't really move you. You had to grow past certain obstacles internally, and it's brought you to a place where you are unmovable, almost untouchable. Like it's very, very hard to knock you down. That is a part of your reputation. That is how people feel about you. The Justice card to cap off the 5 line. Yeah, people find you to be very strong and very, very principled. People find you to be very dedicated to what you do, dedicated to what you believe in, and a very principled person. That's definitely part, I think, of why you that I think that's part of why there's this energy here that you didn't let these people, you don't let people who disappoint you back into your life. The Justice card is very give and take energy, right? Like you give what you get. Part of your reputation is that you give to people what they give to you. If people aren't going to support you, you ain't going to support them. If people aren't going to be kind to you, you ain't being kind to them. It's a big part of your reputation that you've got this very give and take energy. The original Temperance is illustrated by an angel pouring from cup to cup. There's this big sense here of balance. Like you are very self-regulated, and because of that, it's very simple for you to cut someone out of your life if they aren't treating you right. It's very simple for you to give back to people what they give to you. And the 7 of Coins at the bottom of the deck. The 7 of Coins here definitely comes off as self-improvement too. You definitely come off as someone who you're constantly working on yourself. That's part of what manifesting is for you, I think. That's definitely a part of your reputation, that you're someone who's constantly evolving, and it's in line with what you're trying to manifest. Basically, you're part of your reputation is that you're a master manifester. People take notes as far as like your manifestation skills go. Very popular loner energy. That seems to have been the theme. But there's very popular loner energy here. People want to know more about you. There is the sense that people kind of idealize you. Um, People who know your story, I feel, kind of like idealize you, regardless of what that story is. You didn't have the easiest time up to being who you are. And I think especially if you're open about trials and tribulations from your past, people admire that a lot. People find a lot of inspiration in your story. All right. What more can we know about your current reputation? And we've got the Mountain. I brought this card up earlier. The Mountain card. Part of your reputation is that you can overcome anything. Part of your reputation is that you are capable of overcoming anything. You're a very, very good problem solver. You're very quick on your feet. And if at first you don't succeed, try and try again is like a motto that seems to follow you around. You are not someone who gives up. You're a very, very diligent and hard worker. That's reflected in the Seven of Coins as well. You're a very, very diligent, hard worker. The Mountain card being right above the Ace of Wands is indicative of the fact that you're a very fast thinker as well. You're very good at putting your plans into action without having to you don't get stuck in your head. You're not someone who gets stuck in your head. You're very good at putting a plan into action directly after piecing it together. If it doesn't work, you'll put a new plan into action. And the Clover. The Clover is indicative of luck. The way that this lined up, the Clover is also right above the Eight of Swords. I do get the sense here that part of your reputation is that when you get stuck, miracles seem to happen for you. There's definitely miraculous energy here. There are people who feel like they've watched you work miracles. And that's what's indicative of this Clover energy. When you feel stuck, something gets you out of it. There's always something that moves you forward. Part of your reputation is that you are never stuck for very long. And people view it as kind of lucky. People definitely see you as a little bit lucky. People see you as someone who... It's easy to see someone as lucky when they keep coming out on top of things, basically. Obviously, with the Mountain card here, people are aware of the fact that you go through things. You've been through it. You've had difficult times, and you've overcome those obstacles. But the fact that you've overcome those obstacles makes people feel like you're lucky. It makes people feel like there's a certain amount of luck that follows you around. And the Death card. Now, the Death card right above the Temperance card is indicative, again, of the death that you had to go through internally to become the healed person that you are now. Part of your reputation is that your healed aspects were very hard won. You were not someone who gradually grew into who you are, right? This is the energy of someone who had to grow up really quickly. This is the energy of someone who had to learn lessons about the world very fast in life. The Death card, especially in Lenormand, is indicative of endings, solid endings. Part of your reputation is that you can overcome these kinds of things. With the Mountain and the Death card capping this 3-lined here, and it's so funny because the Clover is in the middle. Again, it's people... Part of your reputation is that you can overcome anything. You can overcome anything. And it makes people feel like you're kind of lucky. People feel like that internal resilience that you have, you're incredibly lucky to have it. And maybe they're right. You know what I mean? Maybe they're right. There are lots of people who never develop any kind of resilience. And those people... Sorry about that. As I was saying, people admire you a ton. People admire you a ton. They admire the fact that you are incredibly resilient, and they especially admire the fact that that wasn't always the case. Like you had to develop into the person that you are. And especially if you're open about that development process, people admire you a lot. There are a lot of people who look up to you. And we've got the rod at the bottom of the deck. Now, the rod is indicative of two things. One, you're very physically attractive. People find you to be very physically attractive. Um, and they're very curious about how being intimate with you would be. I'm trying to find the best way to say that. Um, the other thing, however, is that the rod is very consistent. Again, with the energy of the Knight of Pentacles, you are very consistent in your work, and if at first you don't succeed, try and try again. You're more than willing to keep pushing and keep trying. And that is a huge part of your reputation, and it's also a big part of why people admire you so much. All right. What more can we know about your current reputation? And we've got the Tiger. Vicious temper, sharp tongue, reclusive, and misanthropic. Oof. Yeah, part of your reputation is that you can have a bit of a temper. Especially, I think, with people who... We're back to the death card and kind of significant endings. I have the feeling that when you cut people off by letting them know why you're cutting them off. Basically, like you don't just ghost people, like you let them know why you're cutting them off. And that can prove to be a very frustrating, we'll say, experience. There are definitely some people who have experienced a temper from you. And we've got goldfish, short attention span, misunderstood, often gossiped about. Yeah, but these two together definitely lean towards the fact that, like, people who say that you have a vicious temper, who say that you have a sharp tongue, they're just gossiping and trying to make themselves look better. Because, like, if someone pushes you until your breaking point, of course you'll have a sharp tongue with them. Like, there's definitely this sense here that, like, this kind of stuff comes up in gossip about you when people who have negative experiences are gossiping about you and trying to make you seem less great than you actually are, basically. And fireflies, bright, compassionate healer. Yeah, because there's also people who see you as like this golden ray of sunshine. There's definitely people who see you as like a very inspirational, admirable person. They see you as someone who has healed. Healer comes out and reminds us again of temperance, right? You're someone who has a reputation for having been really healed. And that doesn't necessarily line up with a sharp tongue. So there are definitely people, and don't get me wrong, I'm sure that you're capable of defending yourself. I'm sure that you're more than capable of defending yourself. But someone who is just mean and vicious with no prompting isn't really indicative of someone who is also like a compassionate healer, someone who has so many people who find them inspirational and so many people who find them so admirable. You know what I mean? And we've got the peacock at the bottom of the deck. Beautiful, show-stopping, and confident. There are people who really, really admire you, and they outweigh the people who have negative things to say about you. All right, what more can we know about your current reputation? Faithfulness. We're wrapping right back around to the main theme that we started at. You're very faithful to your ideals. Again, there's a sense that right now in the present, you have accomplished a really big goal of yours, something that you had to really try at, something that you might not have succeeded at the first time around. You're very faithful to your ideas and you're very dedicated to what you put your mind to. That's a huge part of your reputation. Hope. And it's because you're capable of continuing to hope even when you don't succeed. You're capable of trying again because you're capable of keeping up that hope. People see you as so inspirational because you act as like a beacon of hope for a lot of people. Your story and the way that you live your life seem to be very, very inspirational for a lot of people. And that energy follows you around, bright fireflies, from the fireflies, bright. Like there's something very bright about your energy. It attracts people, it draws people in, and it gives people something to look up to. House. But there is this sense again, and I think I mentioned this at one point, where all of the tarot cards were very singular. The actual people on the cards depicted were very singular. There is this sense with the house here that you are rather lonely. Like people, part of your reputation is that you're more of a loner. You spend more of your time alone. Part of your reputation is also that people don't really know you. Like people aren't really, they don't know a whole lot about you. Like even throughout this reading, most of this has been very superficial. Like people, your reputation is that people don't know a whole lot about you. Like you're a very independent person and you work independently. You inspire so many people that people definitely want to get to know you. But part of your reputation is that you're a very difficult person to get to know. And we've got Sigh at the bottom of the deck. And ultimately, yeah, I think that kind of wraps up everything that I just said with a nice people are content to watch you from afar, and a lot of people have accepted that that is probably the most that they'll ever get from you. You are a very, very independent person, and you are very capable of pulling things off for yourself. It's a huge part of your reputation. And it's something very, very admirable, even if it can at times probably be very lonely. Don't be afraid to reach out to people. There are a lot of people who would be so stoked to have you in their life. There are a lot of people who really, really, really would kill to have you in their life. So don't be afraid to reach out. All right, lovely. That is what I've got for you. I hope it was enlightening. I hope it was entertaining. I will see you next time. Bye. All right, guys. Last but certainly not least, we've got pile 4 with the Ace of Spades. What is your current reputation? That was quick. The 5 of Wands. Yeah, so, and the Ace of Spades, personally, that's why I didn't say anything initially. When I started reading cards, I gave up playing cards. But when I think of playing cards, the Ace of Spades makes me think of gambling. And I didn't want to mention that specifically because I knew that was a thing that I already had connected to that card. But the 5 of Wands confirms it. there's almost this sense that people are placing their bets on you. Part of your reputation is that people should place their bets on you. Like, you're very lucky, and there's a sense that just like luck follows you around. Fascinating. Especially if you're an athlete, like especially if you're someone who is, or like basically anyone in any kind of competitive field, the Five of Wands speaks of competition. It speaks of showing talent, basically. Part of your reputation is that you are very competitive, first of all, and also very good at what you do. Again, people should place their bets on you. That's part of your reputation. We've got the Two of Swords and the Magician. What comes to mind here is let them cook. Like, people wait to see the next thing that you're going to do. People wait to see the next thing that you're going to have going on. There's a sense of people, when you're not in direct competitions, like when you're not in actual scheduled competitions, you may have issues with people comparing themselves to you or just competing with you without your consent, basically. Like, you might be someone who draws competition. You might be someone who might have issues just a little bit with jealousy towards you. People being jealous towards you, not you being jealous towards other people. And we've got the Hierophant. Yeah, you've got really strong energy, and there's also this sense here that you're very divinely guided. People, part of your reputation is almost that you're like divinely picked. Like, people kind of, they place their bets on you because they assume God's favorite. It's just God's favorite energy. Like, people assume that there's something extra about you. People see you as very lucky. Part of your reputation is that you're very lucky. Whether you see yourself like that or not, whether that is actually the case or not, people see you as an extremely lucky person. There is a sense here that you might just be very good at positioning yourself that way, especially since the Five of Wands is about competition, right? Like, there's definitely the sense here that you're the kind of person that puts your best foot forward. So people, you just make life look easy, basically. Like, there's a sense here that you make life look easy, and people assume that you are very lucky because of it. You might be lucky. You might be an actually very lucky person. I don't know. But but whether you are or not, people definitely think that luck has a hand in how successful and talented you are. The Eight of Cups. And I think you might know that part of your reputation is that you don't toss in to play games with people, basically. Like, if people are going to discredit you and discredit the things that you do by saying that it was luck that made it happen, you're the kind of person that walks away from that. Part of your reputation is that you don't fight with people. What comes to mind is the Meg the Stallion lyric, "Bitch, do I look like I fight?" Like, a strong energy here that, like, you don't compete with anyone outside of actual competitions, and you don't fight anyone who has an idea about you in their head that you don't agree with. You're very strong in who you are. People find you to be, part of your reputation is that you are very confident in who you are. You're a very unshakable person. The High Priestess. And between the High Priestess, the Hierophant, and the Magician, if you're an openly spiritual person, especially if you're someone who openly does like spell work or anything like that, people find you to be a master manifester. People find you to be someone who, there's something very magical about you. That might be part of what they just think, that you're God's favorite. Part of your reputation is that you're God's favorite. Part of your reputation is that people find you to be exceptionally blessed. part of your reputation also is that you have very good intuition. Specifically, I think you're very good at reading people. I don't think that it's easy to pull one over on you, especially with the Five of Wands and the Eight of Cups here. I don't think that it's easy for people to pull one over on you. You're very, very good at reading people, and you're very good at setting boundaries with people once you've decided that you don't want them in your life, or you don't... Bad vibes. Once you decide that they've got bad vibes. And we've got the Hermit. You're comfortable being alone. It's because you're comfortable being alone. You're more than happy to be by yourself. You're more than happy to focus entirely on self-growth. Like, you might be someone who ends up in competition a lot, but it's only competition when you put yourself there. You know what I mean? Like, when people try to compete with you, when people try to set you up to... When people feel insecure and try to compete with you outside of things like actual competitions, you don't give into that bait, because you don't need these people in your life. Part of your reputation is that you're really capable of being alone. You're capable of going through your hermit period and coming out better on the other side, frankly. Let's see. What more can we know about your current reputation? And we've got the Rider. Yeah, and the Rider ends up right above the Magician in this spread. You ride into things like you trust yourself. That... I keep whipping my braid around. You trust yourself. Part of your reputation is that you trust yourself. And the Ring. Between the Rider and the Ring, you trust yourself to continue down the right path. You trust yourself to go where you're supposed to go. And frankly, it works out for you. You have very, very strong intuition. The Magician, the Hierophant, the High Priestess, and the Hermit are all not just like magical cards, but they all feature very specifically mystical people. You are someone who is very good at following your intuition and very good with sticking to what you start. And the Bear. It's because you're very, very strong. The Bear is indicative of a very strong person. Specifically a very strong feminine energy, regardless of how you identify. When I say very strong feminine energy, what I mean is a very strong internal energy. Again, the sense that you're very secure in who you are, so you don't need validation from other people. You don't need people to see you a certain way. You don't need people in your life to be happy, basically. That's a really big part of your reputation. And we've got the Letter at the bottom of the deck. But there are people who want to get back in touch with you. That is definitely part of your reputation. And with the Letter and the Rider here, expect communication from these people soon. Expect some kind of communication from people who definitely want to get back into your life soon. That is, I think, part of the gossip surrounding you right now. More of like a gossip thing. People are definitely talking about the fact that there are people who want back into your life. Sorry about that, guys. As I was saying, there are people who want back into your life. Just be prepared for someone or someone's to try to come back in. Likely with some kind of message, like a text or like something over like social media. For some of you, this won't even be like a direct message. This will be like some kind of notification that'll let you know that these people are like watching your stuff. All right. What more can we know about your current reputation? And that's the Tiger. Vicious temper, sharp tongue, reclusive, and misanthropic. So this is very specific. There are very specifically people who want to come back into your life, as I was just saying, who are terrified of it. Because up until this point, there has been no reason to believe that you have any kind of temper, that you have any kind of, if anything, you move away very quickly from people who would bring out that side of you. You know what I mean? And so this is very specifically, people are very worried that you are going to reject them when they approach you again. And dependent on what they did to you, they should be worried. There's definitely a sense of like gossip here. People are like gossiping about the fact that there are people who want back into your life, and there are people who are gossiping about the fact that there's literally no way you will ever give them another shot. And we've got the Siren. Mesmerizing beauty and sex appeal, alluringly talented, hard to get close to. So, specifically, hard to get close to stands out right there. And don't get me wrong, you're clearly very, very attractive. you, and like, I get the sense of like a very attractive energy. Like, there's something very magnetic about you. You are very physically attractive, but it's more than just physical attraction. There's something very magnetic about you. With all of these like mystical figures here, you make people feel something, and it's addictive. That energy is very addictive to them. Like a siren, you draw people in just like a siren. But unlike a siren, you're not trying to get people to come close to you. I get the feeling that you are a hard person to know. You're a very difficult person to get close to. And ultimately it doesn't help that there's gossip surrounding you. Like, people don't know what to expect when approaching you, especially since there are people who are constantly talking about how they're worried that you'll bite their head off if you come near them again, if they come near you again. And we've got Orca, team player, popular, unusually intelligent. So unusually intelligent stands out there. I get the feeling that people are surprised with how smart you are, how clever you are. In fact, clever comes to mind here. With the magician and Mercury energy, clever comes to mind here. Someone with the kind of magnetic draw that you have does not need to be intelligent, is the mindset here. So the fact that you are catches people off guard, basically. And the fact that there's team player and popular here, you're a very popular loner. I think I already mentioned that. That's been the theme for this whole reading. There's a very popular loner energy. People really, really want to get close to you, but they have a difficult time figuring out how to. And I don't think it's because of anything you did. I don't think that you are off put at all. I don't think that you try to put people off at all for the most part. I think you're really good at walking away from bad situations. Your reputation is that you're very good at walking away from bad situations. But there's nothing here to indicate that you are a difficult person to approach. Ultimately, what it is there's a lot of gossip surrounding you, and it kind of blurs your reputation into something that makes it difficult for people, especially people who don't know you, who haven't gotten to know you. It makes it difficult for them to figure out how to get close to you, regardless of how much they want to. And we've got the Centaur, reclusive and misanthropic, spacey and disconnected, quiet and uninterested. So that is the second time misanthropic has come out. Um, Regardless of how you identify, I get the feeling that you maybe haven't had the best romantic relationships in your life. There's definitely the sense here that you have had some very serious betrayals in the romantic areas of your life. That might be part of why you're so good at separating yourself at the first sign of danger, because you've already experienced what it's like to give someone another shot over and over and over again and have them disappoint you over and over and over again. And so with this sense of like misanthropic, I don't think that you dislike other people. In fact, I think that you are very good at getting along with other people when put in the situation where you have to. But I do think that you are very used to people competing with you without you really wanting to compete with them. I do think that you're very used to people. You've had bad experiences with other people, basically. You've had bad experiences with other people, and it puts you off knowing them, is part of your reputation. The fact that part of your reputation specifically is that you've had bad experiences with other people is really interesting. It highlights the fact that there are people who definitely, overall, people definitely recognize the fact that when people talk about you like, oh, they hate everyone, or oh, they're really mean, or oh, they have a really sharp tongue. Like, there are people, for the most part, people are really good at sorting out the fact that, like, the people talking don't have a right to talk, basically. The people talking either have a reason to dislike you or have history with you. All right. What more can we know about your current reputation? And we've got the letter. So this is the second letter to come out. Definitely expect communication. Definitely expect someone to talk to you or someone to try to get back in contact with you. If you're looking for person clues, because I get the sense that it might be more than one person. And with Spacey disconnected coming out with the centaur, what I get from that is that you try not to notice when people are trying to get your attention, basically. When people are trying to do things to get under your skin, when people are trying to do things to get your attention, you're very good at you're very good at putting on blinders and refusing to notice. So I do get the sense that you might not have a super strong idea as to who might be trying to come back into your life. If you're looking for clues, the Magician is indicative of Mercury energy, so that's Gemini and Virgo. The Hierophant is indicative of Taurus energy. The High Priestess is indicative of Cancer energy. And the Hermit is indicative of Virgo energy. That's 2 Virgo cards. Those are the sign clues that I have for you. Either way, this is someone really emotional. Really down to earth, but definitely someone who's very in touch with their emotions and someone who isn't afraid of their emotions. And I think that's part of how they are getting themselves together to contact you, because they trust themselves not to lose their cool when trying to get back into your life, basically. This is someone who definitely trusts themselves. This is someone who definitely has a certain level of confidence about them. That's why they are confident enough to try to get back into your life. Or that's how they are confident enough to try to get back into your life. And we've got the House. Very closed off energy. The House speaks of outside looking in energy. So we're wrapping back around to this idea that, like, people don't really know you. They find you to be rather reclusive, but I don't think that you yourself put people off. I think that People are intimidated by you, both because of the very strong energy that you put off, like the very palpable presence that you have, and because of the gossip that might follow you around. Um, What's coming to mind actually is Pluto in the first house energy. Pluto in the first house energy is notorious for attracting things like betrayals, and Pluto in the first house energy is notorious for having people misunderstand you. It's also notorious for causing really, really significant transformations over and over again, especially in the public eye. So, and so there there is this sense here that you are it's not that you put people off, it's that people are very intimidated by you, very intimidated by the presence that you have, and they have a hard time gauging you. Gossip surrounds you, and the intimidation doesn't help, basically. And we've got young woman. Yeah, between the house and young woman, there's the sense that people admire you, but they don't know you. They're on the outside looking in. They really want to come in. They really want to get to know you past that. They admire you a lot. They feel that you are someone who's accomplished a lot in your life. And a lot of people feel like there's something that you are someone that they could learn a lot from. Um, but people have a difficult time figuring out how to get close to you. And we've got the friend at the bottom of the deck. They want to be your friend. People really, really, really want to get close to you. If you are feeling lonely, if you are at a point in your life where you are looking for friends, don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid to reach out, especially to people that you may have like fallen out of touch with, or people who maybe like life kind of separated you guys. Don't be afraid to reach out to old friends. Like, there are people I think who really, really want to hear from you. They just don't know how to approach you themselves. Even if that is not the case, or even if you don't go looking for anyone, however, as I said, remember, there's likely communication on its way to you very, very soon. This reading is timeless, but I'm currently right outside of the holiday season. This is the end of November for me. So expect something within the next season. Expect some kind of offering from someone, even if it's just an offering, as in like trying to reopen that connection. Expect something from someone within the next season. All right, guys, that is what I've got for you. I hope it was enlightening. I hope it was entertaining. I will see you next time. Bye.